When you're a kid, everything's new. Like the way you dig sunsets, Pony, that's gold.
Stay gold, Ponyboy. Stay gold.
I didn't know where that phrase came from until I saw this film.
But they're like the guys who in my fraternity at college.
I wrote The Outsiders. I wrote it in high school. I was 16.
Nothing gold can stay.
A film with an almost prophetic cast.
Any actor from 35 to 15
was there.
One of the most legendary directors out of Hollywood.
The film that everybody wanted to be cast in.
And a story written by a 16-year-old girl from Oklahoma.
Your books have sold literally millions.
And the next thing I know, Tom Wilhite from Disney is on my doorstep.
It's not just a nostalgic coming-of-age film,
but a cinematic and cultural landmark that challenged stereotypes.
It's a nice boy like you doing hanging around with that trash.
Reshaped teenage storytelling and captured the fragile beauty of youth caught in the crossfire of class, violence, and loss.
You sure you want to do this? I came here to see a movie, and I'm gonna see a movie.
In 1983, The Outsiders hit the big screen,
bringing to life S.E. Hinton's groundbreaking novel that had already touched so many young adults' lives through literature.
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
It was a story about the greasers,
the working class kids branded as troublemakers,
and the Socs, the wealthy, polished elite who ruled the other side of the town.
But The Outsiders was never just about gangs or fights. It was about something deeper.
They recognize themselves in my book.
The struggle to hold on to hope, identity, and that fleeting golden innocence in a world that seems determined to take it away.
This movie's cast reads like a Hall of Fame in hindsight.
I always like to think that my actors that I put in a movie are going to become stars and be heard of again.
Tom Cruise, Patrick Swayze, Rob Lowe, Thomas Howell, Emilio Estevez, Ralph Macchio, Diane Lane, and Matt Dillon.
But in 1983, most were unknowns.
If you ever pull a stunt like that again, I'm gonna kill you.
And that's what makes it feel so authentic. These weren't celebrities yet, they were just kids, and they played kids. Thomas Howell plays Ponyboy, the sensitive, introspective narrator of the film. Ponyboy is caught between boyhood and adulthood,
and Howell brings a quiet, poetic gravity to the role.
Later famous for his roles in Red Dawn 1983 and The Hitcher 1986.
The terror starts.
Ralph Macchio, playing Johnny Cade, the quiet, traumatized greaser with a heart of gold.
His arc is the emotional core of the film.
Later known for his roles in The Karate Kid 1984 and Cobra Kai 2018. Matt Dillon playing Dally.
It's a little big on you, but let's try.
The hard-edged rebel of the group with a deep, hidden well of compassion for Johnny. Also known for Drugstore Cowboy 1989 and The House That Built Jack 2018.
Mind if I take a look in the van, please, sir?
I'd be a bad guy if I said no.
Patrick Swayze playing as Derry, Ponyboy's oldest brother, a surrogate parent who gave up his dreams to keep his family together. Better known for Dirty Dancing 1987, Point Break 1991, and Donnie Darko 2001. Rob Lowe playing Soda Pop Curtis, the charming, emotionally grounded middle brother, often caught between Derry and Ponyboy. His later roles include St. Elmo's Fire 1985,
Wendy again. Prison.
And most notably his role as Sam Seaborn in the Parks and Recreation TV series.
Get out of my house!
You don't live here.
The fuck out!
Tom Cruise playing Steve Randall, the hot-headed greaser and best friend to Soda Pop, known for his cocky edge.
Being one of the larger actors to go on from this film.
Starring in Top Gun 1986.
I feel the need for speed.
Emilio Estevez, who plays 2-Bit Matthews, Joker of the game. 2-Bit is known for his switchblade, wisecracks, and protective loyalty. Later known for his role in The Breakfast Club 1985.
Tolerate any losers in this family. Your intensity is for shit.
Diane Lane playing Cherry, a sock girl who sees through the class divide and connects with Ponyboy, compassionate, intelligent, and strong-willed. Later known for Secretariat 2010.
You're that stubborn.
I'm that right. This is about life being ahead of you.
The brilliance is in how Coppola directs them, letting their rough edges stay.
To me, it's all fun, and of course to them it was life and death career.
The way they fidget, the way they yell over each other, the way their faces twitch before crying. It feels unpolished in the best way.
Huh? I said you're a clown.
Shut up.
Directed by Francis Ford Coppola, one of the most renowned directors of cinema.
The most grueling processes that I've been through.
Sit in chairs like a big circle.
Now, is that unusual?
Unheard of.
And after making The Godfather and Apocalypse Now, Francis felt like he had nothing left to prove.
But in 1983, he adapted a teen novel written by a 16-year-old girl from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Why did he do that?
Because Francis does whatever he wants to do.
Not because it was prestigious, but because a classroom of students wrote him asking him to, and he listened.
Remember you saying something about it once? Me and you went to see that movie, remember?
There's something rare about that speaks to Coppola's heart and character.
The Outsiders feels like it was made by someone who remembered what it was like to be young and lonely and desperate for connection.
It's poetic, grand, dramatic, but also soft, human.
It's like the mist is what's pretty, you know? All gold and silver.
It's as if Shakespeare staged a schoolyard brawl behind a gas station, and this wasn't his first time redefining cinema.
I've known Francis since the beginning of the pre-production and casting of The Godfather.
Coppola and George Lucas were early experimenters in sound and editing, and you can trace this back to some of their dreamlike aesthetics in their earlier films, such as THX 1138. Where atmosphere and emotion override the plot. He brought that same atmospheric intimacy to The Outsiders,
but filtered through denim grease and cigarette smoke.
Finished The Outsiders like 3 weeks ago, and we're going to start rehearsals Saturday on Rumblefish.
Marvelous.
Stephen H. Burham was the director of photography, and if you've seen Apocalypse Now, you already know what kind of visual poetry he's capable of. The film was shot with Panavision C-series lenses and Gold 2 cameras. These tools were known for their anamorphic flares, soft blooming around highlights, shallow, dreamlike depth of field, and a bokeh that felt almost painterly. They gave the film an organic, almost surreal texture.
Style many DPs today try to emulate through LUTs and plugins,
but never quite capture.
Oh, sir, you ain't touching my hair.
Pony boy, it's gonna grow back, man.
Because this was done for real, with light, glass, film, and patience. Burham once told young filmmakers, without control of your art form, you render your audience deaf, blind, and dumb. You must study, understand, and constantly practice your craft. And you feel that here. Every shadow, every rim light, every silhouette through dust and smoke.
It's composed like visual poetry. You don't just watch The Outsiders, you soak it in.
You got me scared to death. What am I gonna do now, Pony?
The color theory is deliberate. Deep blues for the night, earthy ambers for the safe warmth of the home, stark white for the fire and violence. The contrast ratio often favors silhouettes and blooming, where characters disappear slightly into their environment, a visual echo of how society erases those it deems unworthy.
The Outsiders follows Ponyboy Curtis, a 14-year-old greaser,
growing up on the rough side of town with his older brothers Derry and Soda Pop. The greasers are constantly at odds with the Socs.
Daddy's my buddy. I'm a grease too.
Short for socials, a wealthy, privileged gang from the other side of the town. The two groups are divided not just by money, but by values, expectations, and the deep emotional scars they hide under their tough exteriors. Ponyboy is sensitive, artistic, and introspective, a writer at heart.
But he struggles to find his place in a world that views his softness as weakness.
It's okay.
He's close with Johnny, the group's quiet underdog. Johnny comes from an abusive home.
I don't know, I might have. Where you headed?
Lives in fear and carries himself like a wounded animal. And then there's Dallas Dally Winston, the oldest of the trio. Dally is hardened by life, fresh out of jail, and wears his apathy like armor.
Don't so much as stick your noses out the door. Am I clear?
But underneath it, there's a deep hidden tenderness,
especially towards Johnny.
The word about
Hey
me,
man, the
right?
boys are worried. Do you know that Two-Bit wanted to go to Texas to hunt for you?
Uh-oh, look what's coming.
One night, everything changes. After Ponyboy and Johnny are attacked by a group of Socs in a park.
You guys know what greases are?
Johnny stabs and kills one of them in self-defense to save Ponyboy from drowning.
I killed him.
Panicked, the two boys flee town with Dally's help and hide out in an abandoned church.
It's an abandoned church on top of J Mountain.
As they wait, they begin to bond in new ways.
Wow. Sorry, man.
Can I see now?
Reading Gone with the Wind, watching the sunrise,
and for the first time, experiencing life without fear.
Nature's for screen is gold. Her hardest hue to hold.
This is where Ponyboy shares Robert Frost's poem, Nothing Gold Can Stay. Its meaning will come to define their lives.
Where'd you learn that?
Robert Frost wrote it.
Their temporary peace is shattered when the church catches fire.
Jesus Christ.
Ponyboy and Johnny heroically rush in to save a group of trapped children.
Johnny, watch out!
We'll get you out of here!
Ponyboy escapes, but Johnny is crushed by falling debris and severely burned.
Johnny Dallas.
You're all right. You're all right. You know, you shouldn't be smoking, son.
Why not?
Johnny's injury becomes the turning point for every character, as he lies in a hospital bed, slowly slipping away.
How is he? How's Johnny doing, man?
That's that cold before we live.
The Greasers and the Socs prepare for a final rumble to settle their differences.
Now, Johnny, you okay?
Oh, yeah. Just hurts sometimes.
But Johnny, near death, tells Pony,
Stay gold, Ponyboy. Stay gold.
It's a plea, not just to survive, but to remain innocent.
curious, and kind in a world that tries to crush those qualities.
Hell, I wouldn't mind it so much if there wasn't so much stuff I ain't done yet.
After Johnny dies, Dally unravels.
Come on, Johnny, don't die. Bastard!
His grief is immediate, uncontrollable, and absolute.
I'm allowed anywhere I want.
He robs a store, pulls a gun, and essentially begs the police to shoot him.
Never gonna get me alive! Drop it!
They do, and he dies alone in the street,
unable to live in a world without that one person tied to the youth and innocence within his own life.
I'm gonna miss you guys. I want you to ask Dally to look at one. I don't think he's ever seen a sunset.
The film ends with Ponyboy writing the story we've just watched,
finally beginning to process what happened,
what it meant, and how he can move forward.
You're gold when you're a kid. Like green.
He's lost people, but he's found something else. A reason to write, a reason to remember, a reason to stay gold. The Outsiders operates on two powerful levels, a coming-of-age narrative rooted in loss and identity,
and a social critique about class empathy and emotional repression.
You really did kill him, huh, Johnny?
At its core, the Greasers versus the Socs dynamic isn't just about rich versus poor, it's about misunderstood pain. The Socs are clean-cut and privileged, but emotionally numb. The Greasers are poor, messy, and broken, but they feel deeply.
Hinton asks a key question: who is really more lost?
Through Ponyboy's eyes, we see that both sides carry burdens.
Didn't mean that, I meant thanks, kid.
Been nice talking to you.
But society only legitimizes one. When Randy, a sock, admits he's sick of fighting and tired of the emptiness of his world.
They'll be the lucky ones at the top with all the breaks. Doesn't matter. Greasers will still be greasers.
We're reminded that pain has no class barrier. It just wears different clothes.
He ain't a Soc. Just a guy that wanted to talk, that's all.
This film is also quietly radical in how it portrays male vulnerability. Every boy in this story is hurting.
Where the hell have you been? Do you know what time it is?
They cry, they comfort, they break, and that's what makes The Outsiders so timeless.
Seems like it's gotta be someplace without grazers, Socs.
It was a movie that wasn't afraid to show young boys and men crying. It dares to show boys being emotional in a world that demands they stay tough. Robert Frost's poem isn't just recited, it's embodied. Nature's first green is gold,
hardest hue to hold.
Nothing gold can stay. These lines become a spiritual spine for the film. Gold symbolizes innocence, beauty, and fleeting joy, the kind Johnny and Ponyboy briefly find in the church.
Like the sunrise, like youth, like life itself, it can't last.
The tragedy is not that it ends. The tragedy is that we don't always recognize it while it's happening.
It ain't long enough. 16 years ain't gonna be long enough.
Johnny's dying wish, stay gold, becomes a challenge to Ponyboy and to us.
How do you hold on to hope when everything around you teaches you not to?
When Johnny dies, it's not just a plot point. It's the soul of the movie cracking.
So this is what you get, huh? This is what you get for helping people.
Not a command, it's a wish, a prayer. A dying boy telling his only friend to hold on to that part of himself that the world hasn't beaten out yet. That's the moment he grows up. Not by choice, but because innocence has an expiration date. The film ends with Ponyboy writing everything down.
I stepped out into the bright sunlight.
He turns trauma into testimony. This act alone turns The Outsiders into something more than a teen drama.
It becomes a story about how we process pain through art.
About how memory can give shape to grief, and how even in a world where nothing gold can stay,
we can still write it down before it fades.
Tell Dally I don't think he knows. Your buddy, Johnny.
S.C. Hinton wrote The Outsiders out of frustration with the teen fiction available in the 1960s.
The year I was writing The Outsiders, my junior year in high school, I made a D in creative writing.
Sick and tired of the sanitized books presented for her and others to read.
I don't sugar things up for them. I try not to lie to them.
Growing up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Hinton witnessed firsthand the daily clashes between the working class greasers and the wealthier Socs. This sharp class divide, combined with how adults often misunderstood young people, became the heart of what she wanted to write about. Hinton has said, "I wrote The Outsiders because I wanted a story that dealt realistically with teenage life as I saw it."
And that's exactly what she did.
Come on, Dally. Give him the money, son.
The characters in the book, Ponyboy and his friends, were drawn from real people in her life. Ponyboy especially is loosely based on Hinton herself, a bookish, sensitive kid caught in the middle of a harsh, unforgiving world.
I mean, just try. You're supposed to be my girlfriend, aren't you?
Don't ever pull anything like that again.
The novel's opening scene was sparked by a very real moment. Hinton witnessed a friend getting jumped by a group of Socs.
The violence, the unfairness, and the fact that no one seemed to care.
Because he was just a greaser, stayed with her. It was this experience that ignited the story's raw emotional beginning. Beyond telling a gritty story, Hinton wanted to break down stereotypes. By giving both sides depth and nuance,
she challenged the black and white thinking of the time.
Here, I thought this might cool you off.
Literary and cinematic influences also shaped Hinton's work. Classic novels like Gone with the Wind played a surprising role in The Outsiders, and films like Rebel Without a Cause gave voice to the angst and confusion of youth.
But Hinton grounded all that teenage emotion in everyday realism,
crafting a story that still resonates decades later.
Mustangs, they're tough.
I want to briefly talk about versions of the film.
When I first looked into watching The Outsiders, I didn't realize there were two cuts: the 1983 theatrical release and the complete novelle, Coppola's 2005 director's cut.
And honestly, I was confused.
The theatrical cut opens in media res. No narration, no title sequence, just Ponyboy stumbling into the night.
What's up? We're early.
The director's cut begins with the theater.
The marquee reads, "Now playing." Ponyboy is reflective, calm, writing. It bookends the story and adds context, especially for those who haven't read the book. The added scenes help.
But there's one major change that doesn't: the music.
In the director's cut, they replaced the original orchestral score during Dally's death scene with surf music.
Never gonna get me alive!
Drop it!
No!
When Dally dies, one of the most emotionally devastating moments in the film, there's surf rock playing in the background.
It changes everything: the tone, the gravity, the pacing.
The original score by Carmine Coppola is tender, sweeping, tragic. It leans into the operatic sadness of the story.
That was Dally. The cops are after him. We gotta hide him.
I bring this up to say that sometimes original things don't need fixing.
And the original Outsiders will always hold a special spot in my mind. The Outsiders isn't just a teen movie. It's a poem about loss, about brotherhood, about class.
I never noticed colors and clouds and stuff till you kept reminding me about them.
About the moment a boy becomes a man. Not when he wins a fight, but when he learns how to grieve.
It reminds us that kindness is a rebellion.
That softness is strength, and that the world will always try to harden you.
But you get to choose who you become.
So be like Ponyboy. Read, write, reflect,
and most importantly, stay gold. If this film or video resonated with you in any way,
I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below.
I find film discussions so engaging and always appreciate hearing your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and make fun choices.
Why don't you leave us alone? Be nice and leave us alone.
I'm never nice.